Hello. What if I told you that animals were 8 more times likely to be featured in children's literature, children's books, in comparison to children of colour? Did you know that only 5% of main characters within children's fiction feature a person of, I hate this term, but what we're called in specific reports are BAME characters. That stands for Black, Asian, Minority, Ethnic characters or people of colour. Only 5% in comparison to the 39% of children of colour who live in the UK. 5% of those characters are representative of that background. So welcome to Between the Covers. My name is Daniela Bleckner. I am an author, book journey mentor, founder of a company called Conscious Dreams Publishing. We work with authors from all over the world to help them to get their powerful messages and stories out there in the form of professional books. On opposite direction, the tiny sliver of the bookcase that you can see behind me, you can't see on Instagram, but you can see it on Facebook or YouTube. These feature just some of the 130 books that we have published over the last 5 to 6 years. I'm absolutely passionate about providing a platform for unseen, unheard authors so that they can have their voices heard and stories shared so they can educate, inspire, and empower for generations to come. We work with all different sorts of authors from different backgrounds, different countries, speaking different languages, different faiths, different religions, different experiences. And I think it's so important that these experiences and these journeys and these stories and these messages are heard. So you are watching Between the Covers. And what is this show about if you're watching for the first time? This show really is about offering a platform for authors to share their author journey. So often we see the finished result, we see the book, but we have no idea. I don't want to say blood, sweat and tears. Sometimes it is. But people have no idea of what it actually takes to write and publish, market and promote a book. So this really gives you an inside view into that process and to hear from authors. And it's a show where I want you to ask questions and get involved as well and interact. It's also a show where we hear from experts within the industry. So whether they are their editors or typesetters or illustrators, for example, or people who work in PR who promote the books. I think it's really important to get as wide a view as possible if you're thinking about publishing a book into the actual process. So today we have an awesome and amazing guest. We first got in touch in February and we have now birthed her beautiful book, JoJo and the Adinkroes. Her name is Jodi Barima. She is a fun-loving mother of 2 and a passionate art teacher, fellow teacher. Through her role as head of art and design, Barima has demonstrated her ability to engage, inspire, and empower children through creativity. So if you're watching this and if you find this of value and worth, how can you not? Please do tap the screen, show us some love as I bring her into the broadcast, and please do share this out as well. Okay, so we have Jodi live on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Hooray! How are you doing?
Hi, I'm good, thank you. Hello, good evening, everyone. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for joining. Thank you, Danny, for organising this. Thank you so much.
Absolutely no problem. Thank you. And we're matching with our little flowery outfits today.
Yeah, great minds, great minds. It wasn't planned, but yeah.
No, not planned at all. And I was saying in our earlier broadcast that sometimes, like subconsciously, I think it's a more conscious now, I sometimes dress to kind of reflect the book. So look how bright and colourful this book is. How can you not buy this? Matching my colorful outfit in my wardrobe. So Jodi, you are now a published author. Your book was launched on Sunday. How do you feel that now you're a published author? And has this always been a dream of yours?
It feels surreal. It's like overwhelming. I'm still kind of trying to get to grips with things. No, it hasn't always been a dream of mine, but it has been a dream for me to create something that is authentic. And since I had my son 3 years ago, I realized that there was a lack of representation in children's products in general. I think I went to buy a rucksack and there was Paw Patrol and toys and talking dogs and different things, but there wasn't anything for Black children in the mainstream. I mean, there was stuff on websites and random places, but you couldn't just go to Tesco's or to Debenhams and pick up something. So I always wanted to create something for him. And the book was kind of an idea from that, which was kind of birthed during the lockdown.
Amazing. And you've used the word birth there because we, as I said in the beginning, we first started talking in February, and it wasn't until we started working together in around, I feel like it was about 3 or 4 months ago. I've got no sense of time at the moment.
Was that April, May? Yeah.
Around that, yeah. I'm so glad I've got you here to remind me. You said to me, I want to publish my book before I could give birth. Hey, Lisa. And I remember saying and thinking, hold on a second. You're about to give birth and you're doing like this huge project. Like it's almost like you're giving birth to two things. You're giving birth to your book and you're giving birth to an actual baby. So how did you find that sort of juggling the two?
It was wild, but I knew that if I didn't force myself to do this, I wouldn't have started. So the idea came about last year, and it didn't really I didn't really commit to it until maybe December. I think it was the 2nd or the 3rd. Which one was that? I don't even know. Lockdown 2.5. I don't know. But the one I remember, because I was saying to you before, like in December when the lockdown was announced and we couldn't see any other family and we couldn't go anywhere. And I think I was planning to get my nails done that day. And then they said the stores were closing at 4 o'clock. And I was so upset. Like, I think I even cried, to be fair, because I was hormonal. But I thought I need to channel my energy. And I think I finished the manuscript and the mock-up book, I think that weekend. Like, so it's here with me now. So I literally just started sketching and putting things into place.
Oh, wow.
Kind of, yeah, that was what I did over the time.
You're an art teacher, aren't you? So they're your
I'm an art teacher. Yeah, so I did the actual sketches and then I started to kind of fit the manuscript around the images and see what worked and what didn't work. And then I think we spoke in February, we had a consultation in February.
Yeah.
But we didn't start working until May.
Yeah.
That was right. Yeah. So I think I got all the manuscripts and all the information over to you, literally like the week before I had the baby.
I know, I remember that thinking, are you sure you want to do this? I'm game if you are, but I honestly...
But do you know what it is? I knew it was wild, but I also knew that if I didn't start then, I would never have started. And there's always excuses. And I just thought, once you've got the manuscript and I've paid you the money, I haven't got a choice, right? So let me just go with it.
Listen, if you're watching, Jodi's Go Get Attitude is infectious. It's just amazing that, you know, when you put your mind to something, you can really get something done. And I know that you're absolutely passionate about this book as well. Tell us what inspired you, first of all, to write the book before you tell us what it's about.
So as I said before, I was looking for products for my son, and I always kind of was aware that there wasn't much around for Black children. I hate the term kids of color, but Black children and other children like my son and us. But it wasn't until I actually had him and I was looking to buy like a rucksack and different things that I realized that in the mainstream stores, like, you know, the supermarkets or even in like places like Debenhams, there wasn't anything. I mean, as you said before, there was animals, there's space, there's rocket ships, etc. And he's obsessed with Paw Patrol, which is a talking dog. And I thought my son cannot have a role model, which is a dog that talks. So I need to kind of create something for him so that he can have something to empower him. And then the book kind of came about because of that.
Okay, amazing. And I know that it's kind of based on the pandemic, and how does that kind of fit in with it in terms of inspiration?
Yeah, so to be honest, the inspiration behind the story is a genuine story. So obviously everyone knows we're in lockdown. We couldn't go anywhere. We had an almost 3-year-old that wanted to go out every day. Like he just likes the streets. The parks are closed. We can't go out. We could go to parks, in fact, but I think the swings and slides were taped up. So we'd have to go to parks where he couldn't see them because he would cry. And I was like, okay, how many times can we walk around the block? Like, this is ridiculous. So he's always singing and dancing, and we've got a drum, which my granddad gave him. My dad gave him, which is on the front cover. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to write a story about the fact that he's unhappy, he's in lockdown, and he wants to be happy again, and he wants to make everyone happy again. He couldn't see his friends, you know, his cousins, and everyone that we could see, we saw through the window because we weren't having visitors. And it was like, what can I do to empower him and inspire him and also to make him happy? And the story kind of evolved from that.
Okay. And what is the book about, just without obviously giving it away?
Okay, for me personally, the book is about making kids understand and know that they have their own superpowers. They don't need a cape, they don't need a mask to be kind of like a superhero, etc. So what I've done is I've created 4 characters based on my nieces and nephews, and each character is an Adinkra symbol. So for those of you that don't know, Adinkra symbols are traditional Ghanaian symbols that kind of are used to empower, and they use back in the day, it was a traditional language. They use the symbols as a language. So if you go to Ghana, you see them in buildings, you see them in statues, you might see them in picture frames and on fabric. So different symbols mean different things, and they're used to empower. So the 4 symbols in the book are actually, one means love, one means beauty, one means freedom, and one means leader. So what I wanted to do, yeah, you can show them. They're the 4 symbols in the book. So it's almost like the symbols are the superpower. So I want the kids to know that they are their own superpower. They don't need a cape. I mean, as much as Spider-Man and all those things are great, it's fantasy, it's not real, right? Yeah. So you're never going to fly. You're never going to turn into Spider and do all these random things. I want the kids to kind of know that they are born powerful and they can do whatever they want to do, no matter what. And the symbols are kind of like a shield, like an armor. And if you have the symbol, you can do whatever you want to do and be whoever you want to be. So the kids essentially turn into the symbols and they become those superpowers.
Amazing.
And then,
go on.
Yeah, and then, sorry, essentially they're used to kind of heal the world. That in short that's the story.
Okay. And what I love about this book is, like you said, they don't need to wear capes. They don't need to have particular superpowers. And these Adinkra symbols are actually, you know, qualities that all of us can have: leader, beauty, love, freedom. How can we use those in our life? And you've also written that. Can you tell us a bit about, oh gosh, here we go, the words at the top?
Okay, so I'm gonna have to pronounce them. Okay, so they are in. Okay, so we are from the Akan tribe in Ghana. There's lots of different tribes in Ghana, and basically this is the word for them in our language, which is tree. It's not going to be that great. So those of you that are professional tree speakers, don't laugh at me. The first one, I'm going to attempt. The first one is Adinkra, which is basically like the king and the leader. So it's kind of like the leader of the pack. So that's JoJo. The second one is, I think it's Dwafi, which means beauty. The third one is Akuma, which is heart, love. And the last one is, it's known as Fawudie. So it means kind of like, direct translation means go back and get it. So whatever is yours, go and get it. Don't kind of hesitate. So whatever is for you, if that makes sense. So it's kind of like freedom, emancipation. That's what that symbol means. So I kind of converted them slightly and made them kind of child friendly. So it was, you know, accessible to that age range.
Amazing, thank you. And has your, I'm sure obviously your son's read this. What are his thoughts on this? How did
he loves it? Do you know what's really random? So because I was writing the story whilst in lockdown, I would write it on the phone. So what I would do was read it to him in the middle of the night from my notes. So he knows the story off by heart. He can't read, he's 3.5, but he knows the story off by heart as if he's reading the story. And every time I go to the next page, he reads the next part, and he's so super excited to be part of it. And I'm so happy because I feel like as much as he's 3, he's proud of me, and that makes me feel good.
Amazing, thank you. So if you've just tuned in, I'm Daniela Bleckner interviewing the awesome and amazing Jodi Barima, who's published a book that's JoJo and the Adinkroes. Amazing book. So tell us, it's so colourful as we are today. Tell us, and obviously you're an art teacher as well. Tell us a little bit about the whole kind of colours that you incorporated in there, why you used them, what kind of look and feel you wanted.
So the idea was for me, it needs to be kid friendly. I love colour. Anyone knows me, I love colour. I see things in colour. So it needs to be powerful and impactful and kind of stand out. So I used a number of primary colours, which are red, yellow, and blue, and I kind of complemented them with each child. So the idea with the colourway is that for the characters, obviously there's 2 boys and 2 girls. For the characters, I wanted it to be kids friendly, and girls love pink and lilac, and kind of like boys love the blues and the red. So I wanted to make it a bit fun as well and engaging. And as I said, each character is based on an actual real life child in my family. So I wanted to make sure it kind of resembled the children as much as possible, because it would be about the idea is to bring the book, but then the other products coming from the book and the story.
Okay, awesome. And that leads really nicely to the fact that you've got your own website. So I do want to say this as a sort of side note to readers, that, you know, when we publish books, yes, it goes on to major distribution platforms like Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Waterstones, all of these third-party retailers, which is great. But I always encourage authors to direct sell, to do for yourself. So set up your own website, sell your book directly through that website. So tell us a little bit about your website you've got set up and how people can buy your book.
Yeah, so the website is linked in the Instagram page. Basically, with the book at the moment, we're selling stickers and artwork, so positive affirmation artwork along with the book. The book is actually cheaper than it would be on Amazon. And also, as you know, we had a good conversation yesterday, Amazon prices fluctuate. So if you're in a different country, for instance, America, you will buy from Amazon because obviously delivery is cheaper. But you might find one day it says it's $12.99, and then tomorrow it might say $15.99. I don't really know why, I don't understand it. But you can buy the book direct from my website, as well as where did you say yesterday? The Books Depository, sorry. So, yeah, and Barnes and Noble.
Yeah, exactly. There's like literally 39,000 online sites, but I mean, in terms of revenue for authors, it's always best to go directly to the author and buy from them. But it is, if you're in America, I mean, obviously you don't want to ship out 1,000. I mean, you might do.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah.
To be fair, I'm looking for stockists, so I'm in the like future. I'm looking to stock in different countries so people can buy direct, because I have a lot of products that people want to buy. And also, if you're going to buy a piece of artwork and it's going to cost me £10 to ship, you're not going to buy it. So we need to find a way to incorporate some kind of shipping so it's cost effective for everyone. Because as I said, I've got artwork at the moment, bookmarks and stickers, but eventually I'm going to be having products such as backpacks, etc. further down the line.
Amazing. And all that information is in JoJo and the Adinkroes Instagram bio. Yeah.
Can I just quickly shout out Michael? I don't know if he's on here, but I just want to shout out Michael, the illustrator of the book, because I mean, like literally, I gave him a few sketches. I gave him like the stickmen sketches, and he kind of just got the idea and he understood the assignment. He was amazing.
It's
so
beautiful.
Shout out to Michael if you're listening.
Big up Michael L. Harper, and he also did your website as well, didn't he?
Done my website. I did the character illustrations before we did the book illustrations, because the characters had to be perfect. I mean, if you see in the book, there's certain things about them that needed to be. I'm going to just quickly show you if you guys can see. There's 4 different characters here, but there's certain different elements that I needed. So, for instance, in Ghana, the girls wear waist beads. If you can see the waist beads on there, and they are a really important part of our tradition. So I wanted to incorporate the waist beads, and also, as I said, the leader of the Adinkroes has a different type of necklace to the other children, because the kings in Ghana have certain type of beads they wear to show their royalty. And as the Adinkrohini is the leader, he's like the royal, the king, he has a different type of necklace, and also he's wearing very important. 2 rings to show his leadership, and all the other kids have got 1 ring. But I've used the symbols on their clothing, I've used the symbols in their trousers, etc., just to show that they are that superpower.
And you know what? I think it's so special to have someone who pays so much attention to detail, and there's meaning behind everything within every picture. And, you know, even without having the words, pictures tell a story. So it's beautiful to have someone who is an art teacher actually work with us. You know, already got your illustrations, you already had a very clear vision of what you wanted. And there's so much education behind, you know, all of these things that you said. A lot of these things that you said haven't been mentioned, but they're there subtly within the book. So there's so many different teaching points, I think, in this book, which makes it beautiful. What is it that you want children to sort of really get from your book, to walk away thinking and knowing?
Do you know, the whole pandemic year was just wild. Honestly, it felt like the world was ending. But I also want them to feel like, even though things were bad, schools were closed, maybe there's some different issues going on now, they've joined back to school again. I want them to feel like no matter what happens in life, you can kind of pick yourself up from adversity and just carry on and do whatever you want to do and be whoever you want to be. Just have self-belief, and you can kind of do what you want in life and go where you want to go. So what I've actually done is I've got the four different characters have got affirmations that I am kind of hoping that when people buy the products, they can read to the kids and say to their kids, like on a regular basis, so that their kids can feel empowered. And just to make kind of like believe in yourself and do what you want to do and be who you want to be. So there's 4, there's love, freedom, as I said, beauty and leader. So I am loved, I will always show love. I am free to be who I want to be. I am a strong and confident leader. And the last one is I am beautiful inside and out. So it's really important for them to understand all of these things and to know that no matter what anyone tells them, they are powerful and they are strong and they can do whatever they want to in life if they put their mind to it.
And that's powerful as well. I mean, not only one, you know, readdressing the balance in terms of the characters shown and having more Black main characters within a book,
definitely.
in itself, but also the positive affirmation, self-identity, positive identity. And I'm a real believer, if that isn't out there in the mainstream, we have absolutely no option but to create the door and create that table and create that choice for ourselves, you know. So
definitely
go and get this book, JoJo and the Adinkroes. What's next for Jodi? What are you doing?
World domination. No, okay, yeah, it's going to happen. I have to call it forth. For me personally, I've just been given the Welsh Fund. Actually, you can talk about the Welsh Fund because it was partly free. For me, I want to kind of get the brand into different what they called again. I can't remember the name.
Outlets, retailers.
Outlet retailers, and also book subscription companies. I want to get the book reviewed so it kind of goes out to a bigger audience.
Right, hold on. Call out. If you're watching this and you are a book reviewer, please do get in touch with JoJo and the Adinkroes at JoJo and the Adinkroes, pinned at the top.
Thank you. And also I want to give back. So I'm going to be going to Ghana shortly, and I'm partnering with some organisations in order to get not just my book, but books and materials out to schools. I previously worked with the Street Kids Foundation. So I want to kind of do some stuff with them and kind of like just get the book out there and broaden the range, as well as the translations that you're going to talk about later. I want to translate into actually different dialects of the Ghanaian language. There's lots of different dialects. And as I said before, the 4 different characters are based on my family, my nieces and nephews, but they're all from mixed heritage. So for instance, we've got Jamaican mixed heritage, Sierra Leone, Nigerian, etc. So I want to be able to break other stories and incorporate those cultures further down the line and kind of take it worldwide.
Amazing. Now your ambition is amazing. I love it. You speak my language. So there's a couple of things that we want to tell you about. We haven't even spoken about the author journey yet, but 2 exciting things that are happening is Jodi is launching her book. We're running an online event called Children's Lit Diversity and Representation Matters, Sunday the 31st of October between 3 and 5 p.m. Tickets are free, so come and join in. We are I'm going to be interviewing 8 of our authors alongside 2 authors as well, talking about representation and the importance of diversity and inclusion within children's books. Jodi, along with our another author, Trisha Morrison, is going to be launching. They're both going to be launching their books on that day, and we have a 7-year-old who is now our youngest author. 7-year-old Tiana Rose is going to be launching her book. Not launching. She's going to be speaking out about her book called My Afro, written by herself, and her illustrator will be there as well to talk you through the process and answer any questions. And she'll be launching her book in November, but she's very excited about speaking. 7 years old. We're very excited to have her. And I want to get to the stage where it's normal. Myself growing up, I'm to my age. 41. Anyway. Snap. There you go. What was that? We don't look 41. Oh, thank you.
No, 15.
Waiting for that to be typed up. So, growing up, it was Topsy and Tim, it was Jane and Peter, it was Enid Blyton, it was Famous 5, it was Secret 7, Mallory Towers, and I never saw anyone who looked like me. And I think deep down what it does, it's subtle, because it's not that we're being presented necessarily. I think sometimes the absence of an image can be even more damaging than an image being there that's not necessarily a direct representation of yourself, because what it does is it shows you don't matter, your story doesn't matter, your voice doesn't matter. It's so subtle that you don't realize it's happening until you get older, and you feel like you're invisible, because you are invisible in the mainstream. So I want our young people, your son Tiana Rose, to be reading books, going to the library, going to events, speaking to Black authors, Asian authors of that aren't just the one homogenous audience, a single narrative that we've been fed, and for that to be completely and utterly normal, where it's not even a thing. That's my ultimate dream, one of my ultimate dreams.
And also, I totally agree. Can I just say that as well? I wanted to make sure when I wrote the story that it wasn't about kids being Black, if that makes sense. Like, there's a lot of books, like, I'm no shade to anyone that's done it, but there's a lot of books that are talking about the Blackness, which is great and it's fantastic and it needs to be spoken about. But I feel like we don't need to keep emphasizing the Blackness. Like, I want to open the book and be like, oh my goodness, it's a fantastic. book about a child in lockdown, not, oh my goodness, it's a black book. It's not a black book. It's just got black children in it. And it's about a general story that happened to everyone was in lockdown, the whole world was. Do you know? And I think it's really important that that message goes through, because I don't want people to open it or see the cover and think, oh, it's another black book, you know? And that's not what it's about for me.
And that's another issue sometimes, I think, our stories, especially in adult, you know, more sort of adult novels, you see black interest, or you've got urban. What? I'm just human sharing a story. You know, we've got a 13-year-old author, well, she's 15 now, and she wrote a sci-fi fantasy novel, and it just so happened to feature a black character, and I want that to be normal to her. I don't want her to think it's a black sci-fi book. No, it's a sci-fi fantasy novel that features a black protagonist. Every day, well, it's not an everyday story because she's saving the entire world. I know what you mean. But you know what I mean? For it to be completely standard. Great message. It's normalised seeing black children a bit. 100%.
And even things like imagery, like for instance, like as I said before, I went to an all girls Catholic, predominantly white primary school, and my secondary school was Catholic as well. And there was never any imagery of any black people ever. And to the point where when we did like things like Christian Aid and things like that, charity organizations, there was always African children on the screen with flies in their eyes, and the kids would laugh. And to the point where I was so embarrassed to be African that I would also laugh, because I didn't want to be part of it. And I was trying to distance myself to the point where I was American until I was about 12. Every year I went on holiday to Ghana. I'm going to America. I don't know where I was from in America, but I was American. And I was so ashamed to be African that I'm so proud now that my son and everyone around him can now acknowledge the fact that they're African, because now obviously people understand the differences, and Ghana, Nigeria, and other countries are kind of being represented in the mainstream. I'm so proud and so happy that he doesn't have to go through what I went through, trying to kind of hide my Africanness, if that makes sense.
100%. And no matter what kind of space he's in, or the people he's surrounded by, whether it is a private school, or, you know, where he's the only black boy in the school, or whether it is amongst his peers or amongst the community, to be able to feel comfortable in your own skin, no matter where you are, I think is so important.
So important.
I think books like this are key, absolutely key. Hey, Miss Tash, nice to see you. So we've got this event, so 31st of Sunday, 31st of Sunday, 31st this Sunday, 31st of October, there you go. It's going to be a white Instagram page anyway. I'm going to put the link in the bio later this evening, so please do book your tickets. Jodi and Trisha's books will be launching on that day, and we have some excellent news. So a few months ago, I interviewed somebody called Jessica Dunrod, and she is a Welsh author. The first children's, I think, black children's Welsh author. She created her own word, which now stands in the dictionary, Welsh dictionary, called I don't know if I'm saying it right. Awdorod, I think it is. Awdorod, Awrod, I think it is, which means black author. And there wasn't a term for black author in Welsh, so she created it. And not only has she created this word, she's actually created a fund whereby she, through her company, Lily Translates, they were looking for, I think it was 10 authors to translate their work into the Welsh language. And Jodi's book has been selected as the winner. And soon you're going to be seeing Jodi and the Adinkroes in Welsh coming up very soon. Do you have any more to say on it? Because obviously I found out, just read her post today. And then
I found out today. I was super shocked, because when I submitted for the fund, I was like, okay, well, the book wasn't even published at the time that you told me to go for it. So I'm like, okay, so I'm publishing this book. I want to sleep, and now you want me to now do it in Welsh? Like, I can't. It's too much. So originally, when you told me, Danny, I was like, oh, another thing to add to my to-do list. But actually, it's been really great. I've applied for the fund, and I feel like now I've just got to take whatever comes my way, and also I want to kind of get the book as many places as possible. So I'm really glad and excited, proud that actually it can go in to children in Wales. Obviously I can't speak Welsh and I can't read Welsh, but the fact that there are black children in Wales that don't have these kind of books, I mean, it's great that she's doing it, and I'm just so happy that, you know, I'm going to be part of the initiative for that.
Awesome. So shout out to Jessica Dunrod and to Lily Translates. That's at Lily Translates if you want to follow her. Yeah. She is amazing. I interviewed her a few months ago, and so I'm really, really pleased that one of our authors has won the competition.
Can I just say hi to everyone that's on here? I can't type hello, but I can see you all. Thanks for coming. Thanks for showing up so I don't look like Billy No Mates. Thanks for coming, guys. Really appreciate it.
You've got loads of people on there. If you've got any questions for Jodi, please throw them up. We've got another 10 minutes and we've got to end. So any questions for Jodi, please do throw them up, whether you're on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, or Instagram. Quick question. So tell us a little bit about the process for those who've never written and published a book. How easy was it to write the story, and tell us a little bit about the process of publishing?
Okay, so when I originally wanted to write about a children, let me just start again. When I wanted to write a children's book, I thought, okay, easy peasy, like it's kids, like how hard could it be? Like once upon a time there was a boy. Well, I was really mistaken, because I started to read my son's books and I was like, there's so many different variations and different styles depending on the type of book, depending on the age range. So I started to kind of research and do a bit of Google, and they were telling me all these different things. And I was like, this is overwhelming. So I went and bought like 6 or 7 books of the latest books. I think Look Up was one of them, Million Mac, a couple of different styles of books. And I read the books and I kind of found a way that I could also write mine in line with these. There's different things you need to look at when you're writing in children's books. So for instance, obviously kids need to be engaged straight away. There's no time for once upon a time he had a dad and mom, a cat, a dog. Nobody cares. You need to start the story straight away. So it's literally like, start the story straight away. So page 1, JoJo loves Bix, which is Weetabix. He loves to sing and dance. Great. Page 2, what happens? Then the thing happens.
This is a bit like Jodi's personality, I think, as well. It's like, bam, right, go on, get it done.
It totally is. I'm proper, yeah, this is me, like all over the place. But you need to kind of start. So on the second page, the thing happens, right? So you need to start straight away and engage the child. You need to hook them in. Otherwise, by page 3, they've switched off. You also need to kind of have some suspense. I'm like, okay, I need some suspense. And then I read that you need to have a problem that needs to be solved. Fantastic, there's a problem that needs to be solved. He's unhappy, he wants to be happy again. And then it's like, when you've solved the problem, end the book. I'm like, I've got so much to say, and you want me to fill all this into like, what is it? You said to me, I have 32-page word count. I was like, 32 pages? As much as it sounds like a lot, I could have written like 4 of these, so I had to edit it down. So after I edited it down, I then had typed it in a Word document, and I went online and I thought, okay, I need to find a way to publish this book. I went online and there's lots of places where you can publish. There's lots of publishing houses, but there's a whole heap of red tape. So first of all, you need a literary. Is it literary?
Literary agent. Yeah.
I didn't have a clue. I just thought I could go online and type, can you publish my book? Yes or no. Well, you need a literary agent. And the literary agent basically has to look at your story and your manuscript and see if it's worthy of publishing. And also if the publishing house she works for, he works for, are looking for that type of story. So now I've got to find an agent that actually likes me, likes my story. And then I've got to convince her to convince someone else to like my story, and possibly face rejection, like 100. And I was reading people online saying, oh, I've got 100 rejection letters. I don't have time for this. Like I've had enough of asking for permission for things.
Yeah.
And also I'm like, the story's great. I know it's great. I need to get it out there. I don't want to ask permission for a publishing house or publishing company to write the story for it to be okay. I know it's okay. So I'm like, okay, this is not going to work for me. And there was other processes you go down to, like the Books Trust does a lot of things whereby they have authors in residence that help you to write stories. There's someone called, I think it's #Black.
Yeah.
They also have initiatives where you can join a program, but it's a great initiative and it helps the authors. But at the same time, I didn't have a year. It was like, join a program for a year, you get a mentor, you get this, you get this. And I'm like, it's a kid's book, it's not a novel. Surely I could do this in like 3 weeks. So I kind of researched online and I went and joined the Black Owned Economy, which is a Facebook group for Black businesses. And it was like July last year, I just went on there and I wrote a message. Hi guys, looking for someone to help me publish a book and create some products for Black children. Let me know if you know anyone. And Danny's name just kept on coming up.
I remember that, yes.
Do you remember? So it was like July last year, and I'm like, okay, so if Danny's name's come up more than 3 times, she must be someone, right? Important. So let me contact Danny and hope she likes the book. Okay, so Claire asked what age range. So my book is for 3 to 7-year-olds. Yeah, 3 to 7-year-olds. Hi Claire, hi Lizzie. So Danny's name kept on coming up. Yeah, Danny's great. She's done my book. Danny's this, and I'm like, okay, cool. but what if Danny doesn't like my book? And at that point, I'm like, you know what, Danny's going to like it. It's great. Let me contact Danny. Let's have a consultation. If she doesn't like it, I'm going to convince her to like it. Because I could have self-published it alone, but actually there's so much background stuff and things that you need to do. 1, I'm not patient. 2, I hate paperwork. And 3, I was already overwhelmed with life. And I just thought, I need someone that knows what they're doing to take it from me and kind of run with it. So I contacted you, we had a consultation, and you explained your process, which you can probably explain to everyone now to tell them how it works.
No, I'm not going to explain it. No.
Okay, let's fast track. So I explained the process. So I had a consultation with Danny. We spoke about my book. I kind of sent her what I did and what I was about, and she had a look and kind of said, okay, this is what we do. This is our process. I can publish the book for you, etc., etc. So I gave her my manuscript, which is a Word document. There's a process whereby they edit the document. Once they like you, they edit the document to make sure the grammar's correct. They make sure it's the correct word count for the age range, depending on what it is. Because obviously, Danny doesn't just do kids' books; she does all different types of books. So if it's age appropriate, and also if the context is right, etc. So she did all of that, and then she took it off my hands and she did magic, honestly. And at that point, I think the illustrations weren't even done yet, but you kind of did your bit, your end, and then when the illustrations were given to you, you kind of put it all together. So she does the background stuff, the distribution, the ISBN numbers. I mean, there's so many different things that you just wouldn't think. I literally thought I would go to a website and just buy a stamp with a number on it and then they'll give me a book. Like, I was naive, but there is so many different things even Danny's doing now for me, explaining to me like the background behind the book sales and the royalties, which I didn't have a clue about. So there's so many things that I knew I couldn't have done without Danny doing them for me, and I wouldn't have published his book. I honestly would have given up, to be fair, because there's a lot of things that you need to do, and if you're not patient and you don't have time, you need to get someone that does and knows what they're doing.
Oh, thank you. I hope that really gives a good insight into for people in terms of like putting a book together, because like you say, you see a book, you know, oh, it's a book, brilliant, okay, but you just the idea, the concept of what it took to actually create that book and everything that goes on behind the scenes, and a lot of people don't know. And I've set this up because almost by accident, I set this up because I went through the same journey. I wanted to publish my book. I tried to look for an agent. I went through the rejections. They wanted marketing plans. They wanted so many things. And so I just researched intently how to set up a publishing company, how to publish my own book. I mean, I had the time, well, I was kind of working 6 days a week, but I still I gave myself the time to be able to do this. But I did kind of walk away thinking this is such a minefield. There's people who aren't necessarily technologically savvy or who aren't interested in how to publish a book and just want to get it done. It's so easy to give up. And then I had, you know, lots of people, a lot of women with powerful stories that wanted to publish their book, but they had no idea. So we started off, you know, just helping people out. And it's just amazing to see how many people who have amazing stories and messages and talent. I mean, look at these beautiful illustrations, but they don't know the process of publishing a book. So thanks for that, Jodi. It's been an absolute pleasure working with you.
Thank you, you too. Thank you so much.
How can people connect with you?
Okay, so I am on Instagram at JoJo and adinkroes.com, at JoJo and Adinkroes, also at Facebook, and you can message me through my email, info@jojoandadinkroes.com, or you can send me a DM. I'm not one of those people that would ignore your DM, so if you want to send me a DM, I'm not that famous yet. I will talk to you through DMs if you need to talk to me. But yeah, I'm accessible. Ask me whatever you need. If you want advice as to what to do, even if it's not a kid's book, you want advice, I can give you advice on the process and put you in touch with Danny. If you've got a story, even if you haven't completed it yet, Danny is your woman.
Thank you.
So get in touch,
much.
and I will link you with her.
Awesome.
No worries.
So I forgot what I wanted to say now. Oh yes, do just follow both of us, and you'll get some more information about the Welsh Fund, the event happening on the 31st, and it's just an exciting time. This is the beginning of your author journey, and there's so much more to come. You've got the merch, you've got the programs that you want to run in Ghana, and we're going to hopefully be doing some in-person events in 2022. So stay tuned. Stay tuned. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. I have been Daniela Bleckner. You can follow me at Conscious Dreams Publishing on Facebook and on Instagram. Speaking with the awesome and amazing
Jodi Barima.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining, everyone. Thanks so much, everyone. Thanks for all the messages and I can't even type because I'm talking to you right now. But thank you so much for joining and spending your evening with us. And have a great rest of the week.
We'll see you next week, 7 p.m. GMT, 2 p.m. EST, where I'll be interviewing the awesome and amazing Gurmeet Danjil, who is publishing her 3rd book with us, Our Dance Through Life. So catch you there.
Thanks, Claude. Thanks, Rich. Can I just ask, is this is recorded, right?
Yeah, it's going to be on YouTube. There's going to be replays as well.
Okay, brilliant. And I'll let you guys you can watch it back later. Thanks, you can watch it back later. Thanks, Foles. Thanks, Rich. Thanks, Sam.